BBT explains us about that how repulsion takes place, how the overlapping of the atomic orbitals takes place, what are the types of covalent bonding, sigma and pi bonding. It explains us about many things which are related to the shape, geometry, and structure of the molecules. But after that, hybridization came. So it explains us about that after knowing the hybridization of the molecule, so we can predict not even the geometry, not even the shape, even we can predict characteristics about the molecule. We can find out how many p orbitals are overlapping. We can find out how many s orbitals are overlapping. So if we know about how many s and p orbitals are overlapping, then we will came to know about how many sigma bonding are there and how many pi bonding are there, right? So hybridization is a criteria is defined as the mixing of the atomic orbital belonging to the same atom but having slightly different energies, so that a redistribution of energy takes place between them, resulting in the formation of new orbitals of the equal energy and identical shape. Right? So means whenever the atomic orbitals intermix, which have nearly same energy, they just like combine together and redistribution of energy will takes place and led to the formation of new orbitals, and these are known as hybrid orbitals. That means the new orbitals which form after the mixing of orbitals are known as what? Hybrid orbitals, right? So there are some important points which are related to the hybridization and I'm going to discuss with you. The first one is only those orbitals which have approximately equal energies and belong to the same atom or ion can undergo hybridization. So this was the first condition of hybridization, that the atomic orbitals which are combining, which are overlapping, must have the similar energy, must have the equal energy, right? Second point, the number of hybrid orbital produced is equal to the number of atomic orbital mixed. Means atom number of hybrid orbital is directly proportional to the number of atomic orbital mixing. If two orbital are mixing, if three are mixing, four is mixing, so this will simultaneously increase the number of hybrid orbitals, right? Second thing, it is not necessary that all half-fill orbitals must participate in hybridization. Similarly, it is not necessary that only half-fill orbitals should participate in hybridization. Even completely fill orbitals have orbitals with slightly different energies can participate. In previous theories, we have discussed about only the half-filled orbitals can overlap and participate in bond formation. But in hybridization, we came to know about that not only the half-filled, even the full-filled orbitals, which have different energies, can also take part in hybridization. Right? Hybridization never takes place in isolated atoms, it occurs only at the time of bond formation. If you want to find out the hybridization, if you want to do hybridization in isolated atom is in a single atom, so it's not possible. So hybridization will takes place only whenever the bond formation is takes place, whenever the overlapping of or the intermixing of atomic orbital takes place. At that time, hybridization will also take place, right? The bigger lobe of hybrid orbital always positive sign, and while the smaller lobe always have negative. This thing we have discussed in VBT, that overlapping of the positive end or the positive lobes will take place, which directly led to what? Which directly led to the increase in size of the positive lobe and decrease in the size of the negative, right? So there are different types of hybridization. First is sp hybridization. Sp hybridization means where one s and one p overlapping or intermixing of one s and one p orbitals takes place, uh, which have same nearly same energies or the same energies. I think in VBT first point we have discussed about the head-to-head overlapping. So whenever sp take part, so there will be one s orbital take part in hybridization and one p, and that has to be 2pz because it is of positives, right? So this is positive. So pz, 2pz and s will take part, but there are new formation of orbital will be there, means 2px, 2py, 2pz. There are so three types of p with different energy. So only that p lobe, the orbital, the or p orbital will overlap with s, with which have similar energy to the s, that is p z. Okay, so p z overlapping will takes place, and that led to formation of sp hybrid orbital. So will, and the shape will be always diagonal. Diagonal means linear shape. This is linear shape. So after knowing the hybridization of the molecule, you can predict its shape very accurately. So hybridization was the successful thing that explains about the geometry of the molecule. If you know the hybridization, you can easily tell what is the shape of the molecules. So second is sp2, where 1s and 2p orbitals overlap, which have nearly equivalent energy. So this type of hybridization is known as sp2 hybridization, and shape will be trigonal. ठीक है, trigonal will be the shape because here one s is there and 2p take part in bond formation, and this thing we'll learn from this chart, right? Next is sp3. Sp3 is where 1s and 3p and shape will be tetrahedral. Next is dsp2. In this, 1d, 1s and 2p orbitals are taking part in bond formation, means the atomic orbitals are intermixing and shape will be square planar. Okay, and the one condition is the d orbital is x square and y square. I think when we are learning about the shapes of the orbital, we just came to know about that. The shape of p orbital is double and the d orbital is double double, right? So in double double, and there it exists in five forms: pxz, pxy, pzx, px square, y square, and pz square, right? So pz is taking part bond form in sigma bonding, and rest px and py will take part in pi bonding, and so on, right? So in dsp2 hybridization, the d orbital, that is p dx square y square, will take part in bond formation. If we talk about sp3d, in this we have 1s, 3p and 1d, and that d orbital must be dz square, right? Because it is of positive charge and shape will be trigonal bipyramidal. If we talk about ds3, sorry, sp3d2 or d2sp3, you can write it anyway. So here 1s, 3p, 2ds. 2ds means x square, y square and z square will take part in bond formation, and the shape will be octahedral, example sf6 and so on. If we talk about sp3d3, sp3 and d3, so in that 1s, 3p and 3d are taking part in bone formation, and these 3d are dxy, dyz and dzx, and the shape will be pentagonal bipyramidal, example if7, right? So now we learn about that how the orbital take part in bone formation, means, so how, what is the rule, or how this d orbital take part in bone formation, participate in bone formation. So this can be like this. So whenever the overlapping will be there, so the entire shell or the orbital will overlap, means the valency uh, orbital in the means I think we have learned this thing, that the intermixing of orbital will be up to maximum xn, right? Maximization means is just the outermost participating, entire outermost participating shell will be considered, orbital will be considered, right? If we talk about PCl5 and hybridization is sp3, so how this thing, the d orbital take part in bond formation, let's just see. So if we talk about PCl5, so this thing we know very well, this phosphorus is a non-metal and it has three unpaired electron in its valency shell, that is in 3p, means all the entire shell is half filled. But in the inner shell, in the s orbital, two electrons are there pairing, but this is the participating shell which is take part in overlapping. Okay, then what will happen, the p, or when this electron and gain energy and move to the d orbital, means from move from ground state to excited state, after gaining the energy, this electron, the pairing of electron in s3s breaks, and this electron will jump to the d orbital. So now one S is vacant, 3P are vacant, and one D is vacant. Okay. So whenever the chlorine come for bond formation, what will happen? One chlorine will go to S, three chlorine will go to P, and one with D. So that is why the hybridization of PCl5 is sp3d, because in this one S, 3P, and one D are taking part in bond formation. Let's just take another example, that is SF6. So what will happen? In SF6, only two unpaired electrons are there, but the in outermost participating shell, in 3s we have two, in 3p we have two paired and two unpaired, but D is vacant. So what will happen? Same, electron jump from lower shell to lower energy shell to the higher excited state. What will happen? The electron from 3s and px will move to d. Okay, right now we can see this thing, s 1s, 3p, and d 2d orbitals are taking part in bond formation, and whenever fluorine comes, so it will one electron will go to s, 3 in p, and 2 in d. So that is why SF6 has hybridization sp3d2, and the shape will be octahedral. Okay, this is how it looks. So by knowing the hybridization, we can easily predict, we can easily tell the geometry of the molecule, right? So same with others, if we take different examples with different um, participating shells, so every time this thing happen, the electron from the orbital of the participating shell of will jump to the excited state from the ground state, and make the space for the overlapping. And whenever the electron go and combine with the unpaired electrons, and the bond formation will take place. That is how we can tell about the shape and the structure of the molecule. Means if sp3d hybridization will be there, so it says me sp3d, it means there is 5 bond and the shape is trigonal bipyramidal. And if sf6 is there, so what is the octahedral shape will be there, right? Means the central atom S is surrounded with this 3 and 3 6 fluorines, and the hybridization is sp3d2 or d2sp3. So this is the hybridization. So this is how, whenever we find out the hybridization of the molecule, we clearly state about the geometry and the shape of the molecule. Okay.